guys, we're not here really to Monday morning quarterback the 911 operator, but when we hear someone's life probably could have been saved in this situation. And I don't want to throw it all on the 911 operator, but I found that her reaction to this needed to be quick and needed to be Johnny on the spot, as they say. The lady Kara, thank you for your assessment, guys. It's always appreciated. My hearts go out to the Robeson County deputies and the state park rangers that had to address this tragic incident. The lady Kara, we both, myself and Phil, being NYPD, myself for 27 years, Phil for 21, 22. We went to jobs like this all the time, and it's never easy. And I've seen kids 19, 20, 21 years old commit suicide, and it's those pictures stay in your brain, and sometimes they wake you up in the middle of the night. And that's called PTSD. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. We always think about it. Melissa B, a lot of hesitation. Yeah. The net owl training in many places taking a backseat these days. It costs money, time to stop with the business approach to human situations. Net owl, you're 100% correct. With the whole, and without getting political, the whole defund the police thing, the first thing that goes is the money for training. Training costs so much money. And but training is so important. And, now that we know, and let's get to the evidence,
let's go into that.
The actual document. I'm going to put it up on the screen. I want to go through it because I believe there's still many people that think that there's still a possibility that the husband did this. And I think when we read this, a death investigation that has tugged on the hearts of people across the nation has been ruled a suicide. The decision was based on surveillance footage, interviews, physical evidence, and the examination of the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office.
Billy, stop right there for a second. Just read back. I'm going to read back. Surveillance footage, interviews, physical evidence, and the examination of the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office. That is powerful right there, that one sentence.
Well, one of the things that even in this whole report, they indicate it's a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They never say the location of that gunshot wound. So that's something they're still keeping quiet. On Saturday, April 27, 2024, at approximately 2:54 p.m., Robeson County Emergency 911 Communications Center received a 911 call from a female. The caller asked the dispatcher if her phone could be located because she was going to kill herself and wanted her family to be able to find her body. During the conversation with the dispatcher, the caller hung up the phone and the dispatcher was unable to contact the caller. The dispatcher was able to find the location of the caller and dispatched the deputy to the location. The deputies contacted the Lumber River State Park superintendent, and upon their arrival at Lumber River State Park in Orem, North Carolina, the deputies and the state park rangers conducted a search of the area for the victim. The search was aided by a Robeson County Sheriff's Office drone. During the investigation, a black Honda Accord with a South Carolina registration was located in the parking lot at the state park. The investigators confirmed that the vehicle belonged to Micah Miller, 30, of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Investigators located a 6-hour gun case in the passenger seat of the vehicle and a box of ammunition in the center console of the vehicle. Investigators also found a receipt for the 6-hour handgun from a pawn shop and a receipt from a convenience store in the vehicle. Both receipts were dated for the same day of Miller's death, April 27, 2024. During the search of the park for the 911 caller, investigators were approached by an individual who had found a bag near the water edge with an identification belonging to Micah Miller. The individual stated that he heard someone crying and a gunshot while he was fishing. Law enforcement continued the search, and emergency 911 received a call from an individual who stated that a body was located in the water. Law enforcement responded to the location and contacted the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office upon locating the deceased. The victim was identified as Micah Miller. A Sig Sauer 9mm handgun was located in the water at the crime scene during the search of the area. The serial number on the weapon matched the gun box that was found in Miller's Honda Accord. During the investigation, Miller's phone and other personal belongings were located. A search of Miller's phone revealed that she conducted a Google search for national parks near me, and the Lumber River State Park location was provided. The investigation also revealed that Miller and her estranged husband, John Paul Miller, had been separated and were involved in the legal system. This information led to the investigators confirming the whereabouts of Miller and a female that he is allegedly romantically involved with. Investigators were able to confirm that both individuals were not in North Carolina on the night before and the day of Micah Miller's death. Investigators learned through interviews that John Paul Miller was at an athletic event in Charleston on the day of Micah Miller's death. John Miller's vehicle was observed traveling on Highway 17 bypass in Horry County at 2:22 p.m. on April 27, 2024. The investigation confirmed that John Miller was accompanied while traveling to and from the event in Charleston, South Carolina. On Tuesday, May 7, 2024, Sheriff Bernice Wilkins, investigators and the medical examiner met with the parents and immediate family members of Micah Miller. John Paul Miller was given the opportunity to attend a separate meeting, and Miller indicated through his attorney that he would not come to North Carolina to meet with investigators. Investigators conducted several interviews and developed a timeline of events in relation to Miller's death. I mean, I think this is it's pretty damn thorough. I could go over the timeline, which I'll do a little bit later on, but I just want to stop for a second because the husband didn't do it, obviously. He's got an ironclad alibi.
He was in another state, yeah.
He was in another state. There's actually almost an eyeball witness. There's an ear witness to it.
Yes.
So how close was the ear witness? Was the ear witness close enough to be an eyewitness? He heard crying, and then he heard a gunshot. So if he would have heard crying and heard a gunshot, if there was someone else other than Micah, that person would have been seen fleeing the scene. And then we don't know the physical evidence that was recovered by the medical examiner and recovered by the investigators that arrived on the scene. Did they recover the spent shell? I'm not sure. I don't see that in this, but there's a substantial evidence also in this whole report. Just I'd like to go through a little bit more of the timeline.